Anytime I'm doing, sound design or like mixing or anything, I'm always pushing something to the point that it breaks and then taking it back from there.
So I love the way your basses move and wub and wobble and wiggle and all those fun W words that they do. What is your process for like kind of generating your bassy ideas? Because they're such a centerpiece of your style.
Mud pies.
Yeah.
So I've gotten, like, my workflow will change and stuff, but the last like few months I've gotten a pretty good like starting place just for, again, like getting out of my own way, getting ideas down, like starting to mess around with it. And so kind of my process with that, I'll just like, kick on the one, snares, and then make like 2, maybe 3 channels with like basses that, so I've like realized lately, the sooner I get into like the mud pie phase, the better. So I try to like not make the perfect bass sounds. I'm just going for like something that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Or like, I like the tone of that, or like, but not trying. Cause once I'm like, oh, that's not the sound yet. Like it'll take me hours, to like tweak around until I get something I'm really stoked on. So I'll spend maybe like 30 minutes or so, just like pop open Serum. That's my usual go-to. Sometimes like Operator or something though, and just like making, a bar long of, a tone of some sort, and, get some like movement with LFOs and effects and stuff, but make it like decently cool. But then once I'm like, okay, yeah, that's like has a good groove, some different like textures and sounds in there. Then lately I've been turning to Portal for throwing that on and just like messing with that. And then I just love doing audio editing then. So I'll get like a 10 or so minute mud pie and just scrubbing through, finding the cool bits, and just working on the 8-bar loop until I find like a phrase that makes sense to me. And sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it comes out right away. And a lot of times too, I notice it will change as like the song progresses. I don't know if this like happens to you guys a lot when you're writing, but like you'll have like your groove or idea and you think it's like cool at the time, but then as your song progresses and you circle back around, you're like, no, that's not as great. Let's like tweak it around and like move some things around. Maybe trash that idea, start some new ones. But yeah, just mud pies and then audio editing with those, and just like stretching things, pitching things in weird ways, heavily saturating things to where they're just like clipping like crazy, but making like really neat distortion from doing so. And delays too. I really like playing with the delays and like the cool effects. Lately I've been getting some really cool results with like putting delays on like super saturated clipping basses and flattening those, but only taking like the delay portion, not the actual original sound. And I've been getting like some cool tones and textures and like movement that way.
That's badass.
Hey, I'd love to hear your perspective on post-processing, because that's another topic that I do a lot of sessions with people on. And a lot of the times it's generally an easy fix. It's the sounds are just a bit too sterile because they don't give enough like saturation and distortion and get that like grit. Do you want to talk a bit about your perspective? Because you've like fully internalized that concept, but I remember before when we would go through tracks, you were very much in that phase as well. And now having overcome that, how would you describe that process of like beefing up a sound, and like what is distorted enough, or I guess how far can you push distortion? Basically, don't make your shit soft, right? Like the sterile sort of like cheap sounding sound. Do you want to talk about how you got away from that?
Yeah, because I was definitely stuck in that for a bit, and where I had in my mind like, oh, I'm gonna do one thing and it's gonna like break the sound and it won't be usable and it'll sound terrible or whatever. So I definitely was like, didn't like use compression or like saturation or anything for a while. But then
do you think that was like a holding back, like being scared of doing the wrong move type mentality? I see. Okay.
Totally. Yeah. Because ever since I started thinking of it as like, how can I break this sound, or like, how far can I push this sound? It just like things started clicking to me, that and just like referencing more and hearing, like actually listening to the sounds of other reference tracks. But yeah, really just for me, it was just throwing shit on there, like cranking it as, far as it can go until it gets past that point, and then like taking it back. So like anytime I'm doing, sound design or like mixing or anything, I'm always pushing something to the point that it breaks and then taking it back from there. Unless I like the sound that it makes when it breaks, then I'll leave it there. But yeah.
So smart. I was gonna add that, and you just like totally nailed it. Yes, sometimes it does sound better as it breaks, and then you're like, oh fuck, that's sick. I'm gonna use that as a little glitchy fill. But if you're unsure how far you can saturate it, if you're unsure how far you can distort it, push it until you know for a fact it's too far. And then
it's just like trust your ears with it too. Yeah. Like it was totally of like, well, does it sound good to me? Do I like the sound it's making? And cool, I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, like establish the outer limit, and then you can run back. Just real quick too. Yeah, use that for limiting on your master. Everyone's like, how far can I push the limiter? Push it until it starts to go splat on the kick and snare, and that's how you know it's too far. And then pull it back a dB and a half.
I like it.
What's up, humans? It's Luke, your friendly neighborhood trap Jesus. Thanks so much for watching the podcast, checking out our videos. We truly appreciate you. So, Rip Kenny, Tesco, and myself got you a gift. We made you a free sample pack. It's got basses, it's got FX, it's got crazy percussion and Foley sounds, and it's free. It's all yours. Just click the link in the description below. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and share this with your friends. We appreciate you. Peace out and peace among worlds.